The trial begins today for the man accused of killing 4 women in Winnipeg. Jeremy Skibicki is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Rebecca Contois, Morgan Harris, Mercedes Myron, and a 4th unidentified victim. Indigenous leaders have named that woman Buffalo Woman. Skibicki has admitted to killing the 4 women, but his lawyers argue he should not be found criminally responsible due to a mental disorder. The case will be heard by a judge alone due to the complexity of the not criminally responsible defense. Joining me now to discuss this case and what happens is Shimon Segal. He's a criminal defense lawyer. Shimon, good morning. Thank you for speaking with us this morning as this trial is about to get underway. What can we expect to happen?
Good morning, Marcia. What you can expect to happen is, my understanding is today there's going to be the playing of the statement of the accused. This is when the police would have had their interrogation. In this case, seemingly a willing Mr. Skibicki making a statement where he we expect that where he admits the killing of at least 3, perhaps the 4th woman. And I say that because, of course, there's some details that are missing that we expect to come out. And I think that we'll have to wait and see exactly what the details of those are once it's reported.
Can you explain to our viewers why this trial is going ahead when Skibicki did confess to killing the 4 women during that police investigation?
Yeah, so we often think in terms of guilty and not guilty. And when there's not criminally responsible on the table, there's a third rarely used option, which is actually a finding by the court of not criminally responsible by reason of a mental deficiency. And so the facts being admitted, the statement that will be played today, the court will be able to say, I agree, when I'm thinking about what facts there are, that you're responsible for the killing, that you're the cause of the killing. The question is, we don't punish people who are morally innocent, and we need to make sure that people understand what's called the nature and the quality of their actions. In the same way, we would never want to jail a 3-year-old if, God forbid, they were to pull the trigger and hurt somebody. We have to make sure that this is a person who is a moral actor who understood what they were doing and made a choice about what's right and what's wrong.
How high is that bar to hit not criminally responsible?
Well, it actually starts as an upside-down bar. And so that means that you, me, and everyone else is presumed to be sane, and we're presumed not to be under any sort of mental deficiency when we act. And so it's completely on the defense team and the experts that I anticipate they will call, as well as the balance of the experts called by the Crown, before we're going to get to a finding of not criminally responsible.
And it's a judge-only trial. There won't be a jury present, something that the defense had pushed for. They wanted that.
Very much so. It's not only a matter of complexity. You can appreciate that part of what the defense did in this case, which made a lot of sense, is they polled the public. And there was a substantial majority of those polled who, without any information and without having seen any evidence, said they would not find Mr. Skibicki not criminally responsible. And it's very difficult when you're looking for impartiality in a case that has this profile. It's charged up. And at the end of the day, these are real human beings that lost their lives. And while we all have to have compassion for that, not each one of us, including the court of public opinion, is ready to deal with the complexity of not criminally responsible.
All right. So a judge alone case, how long do you think this trial will last?
One of the other big benefits is it shortens the case. A jury has to come in and out of a room. They have to be instructed. They have to learn a lot about the law in a very short period of time. And in this case, we're going to see a huge reduction in how long the case will last. One of the things you're going to note is out-of-town experts. And I say that for 2 reasons, one of which is there's some significant funding gaps, both nationally and locally, where there aren't a lot of doctors who are able to provide this type of evidence. Further, I think the Crown will go to great lengths to make sure they have an out-of-province expert. Perhaps defense will as well. And that'll get away from any of the usual suspects where defense locally will say this is a person who often provides opinions for the Crown attorney, contradicting a defense expert.
Shimon, will we hear from friends or family of the victims?
It depends what happens. I can tell you that if he's found not criminally responsible, this will go to a criminal code review board where the victims' families will continue to have a say on an annual basis. each time the board decides, as you recall from the Vince Lee case, what will happen and what freedoms, if any, are able to happen and at what point. Essentially, the person would likely be institutionalized, after which the question will be, can they ever be deinstitutionalized? If the person is not found not criminally responsible, in other words, we end up with a finding of guilt in the criminal sense. When there's a sentencing, victim impact statements are not only required by the Crown Attorney to be consulted, but I would expect we'll definitely hear a very vocal victim base, including the families and loved ones.
Shimon Segal is a criminal defense lawyer in Winnipeg, where the trial will begin today for Jeremy Skibicki. Thank you so much for all that analysis. We do appreciate it.